The following program is sponsored by Happy Science.
Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Ryuho Okawa is known as a global visionary because of his deep spiritual insight and commitment to guide the world to a brighter future. To accomplish this, he founded Happy Science Group in 1986, which is now a global movement in over 100 countries. His vision and message to the world goes beyond the differences of race and language, empowering people with love. Together in this 8-series program, we will explore practical ways on how you can be happy and how you can take part in creating happiness as a society. Have you ever flown into a sudden rage or were unexplainably unmotivated? What if I told you it could be because of evil spirits? Evil spirits are just the souls of people with a negative mind who have passed on but can't find their way home, back to heaven. They feed off of our negative energies, therefore possessing us in our daily lives. I'm not only talking about the level of the poltergeist or the exorcist, like those Hollywood movies. But before we go any further, let's take it to the streets and ask the people in New York about their experiences. Have you ever experienced possession by evil spirits?
I don't think so. No.
Not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
No, it hasn't come up.
Never. That's very easy, no.
No, definitely not. I've seen people possessed, but not me.
Have you ever experienced possession by evil spirits or know someone who has?
Yes, I've been in recovery from addiction, so I consider that an evil spirit. I've committed some things I'm not proud of. So, yes, I've had some evil spirits in me.
What comes to mind when you think of evil spirits, possession? And have you ever experienced this? Today, we'll explore how spiritual possession happens. So now, let's watch a lecture on negative spiritual influences.
Now, I'll explain further why possession occurs. One of the laws that I must definitely mention is the law of same wavelengths attraction. We often use this term at Happy Science. While you live on Earth, you're a three-dimensional being whose mind is confined in a physical body. However, your mind is the core of your soul and is always connected with the world beyond this one. The mind is like an electromagnet, and the frequencies transmitted by the mind, or the tuning of the mind, are constantly interacting with the spirit world. The two are affecting and being affected by each other. The mind is connected to the spirit world in this way. The key to understanding possession lies in the mind. I often explain this law as something similar to changing the TV channel. If the TV is not tuned to a channel, the image won't show. When you properly tune to a specific channel, the image becomes quite clear. This is also how your mind works. Many kinds of frequencies are emitted from heaven and hell, but if people on earth aren't tuned in, they won't receive such signals. There's a vast diversity of signals and messages emanating from all kinds of beings throughout the spirit world. When those frequencies match exactly with the frequencies of people on earth, spirits and humans attune to one another. When spirits are contacted in this way, or when they are needed on Earth, they can visit Earth. Another case is, if you're acquainted with someone and know his or her name, all you have to do is to call out that name and your mind will connect to him or her right away. If you know a person's face, it's even easier and you can get in contact immediately. This is a law of spiritual connection. You need some connection to attune to a spirit. The spirit world is vast, so if you wish to contact a certain spirit, you need to either to attune yourself to the same frequency or know that spirit. It's just as easy as contacting someone when you know his or her telephone number. If you're able to identify the spirit, you'll be able to reach it. There are also places that are connected to a particular spirit, locations where you can reach a spirit. A spirit can possess a body when there is something to attach itself to. Spirits are able to latch onto areas where the blood flow is disrupted and congested. These places become prone to fatigue or pain. Spiritually, these show up as a dark shadow. These are where a spirit can attach itself. For instance, people suffering from rheumatism, or who say that their feet are always cold, often have a snake spirit wrapped tightly around their legs. People who always complain of headaches may have an animal spirit riding on them and pressing down on their head. Those who continuously suffer from unusual shoulder or neck pains may also have the spirit of an animal riding on them. The same is true for pain in the lower back. Spirits can possess different parts of the body. Let me explain why some spirits possess living people. As you can imagine, hell is a damp, dark place where the light of heaven doesn't reach, where the spirit sun doesn't shine. Hell is a place without light. Similarly, a mind that opposes light blocks it. A mind that opposes light reacts to it by creating clouds. Then what kind of mind opposes light? For living people, it refers to a mind consumed with worries and troubles. Worries and troubles cause the mind to become dark and negative. As long as you're living human beings on earth, you won't be able to live without worries. Everybody has worries. But as long as you have the ability to resolve your worries and problems, you'll be all right. However, if you're unable to solve your problems, your mind will become shackled. Your mind becomes bound to one spot, and you won't be able to stop thinking about the problem. If this continues for a long time, meaning that if your thoughts remain fixed on a single issue, then the spirits in hell will see this as a rope handed down to them. They'll look at this single long rope and think, "What is this rope in front of me? I suppose someone wants me to come up." They will then grab it and begin to climb. They'll approach the person with worries, as if to offer help. So, if you constantly worry about one issue for a long time, spirits from hell will visit you. Those with worries probably aren't bad people, but when they remain focused on one problem and are unable to solve it, the vibration of pain it gives off will attract spirits who are on the same wavelength. Spirits that resonate are able to connect with the people who give off that vibration. If a company president considers taking his own life, the spirits of other presidents who have already committed suicide will come to them. There are company presidents who died 1, 2, 10, or even 20 years earlier and have been languishing in hell, or those who never made it to hell and are still haunting their old company or home. Such spirits latch onto the feeling of people who are in a similar situation and come to them. The spirits may believe they're consoling and supporting people who are suffering the same problems, but in fact, they're not helping. They're trying to drag those people into hell. Objectively, the spirits are dragging the living down into the same morass to increase the number of fellow sufferers. These spirits aren't necessarily acting out of malice when they drag their victims into the other world. They're completely lost, that's all. Their mere presence amplifies sadness and worries in the living and cause further anguish and confusion. Their presence causes people to lose all hope for the future and choose death. Worries and pain comes with being human. Since ancient times, religions have been teaching ways to overcome them. By holding on to worries and pain for an extended period, they develop into attachments, making it difficult for you to escape. Holding on to worries for a long time can be dangerous. Therefore, you must abandon attachments and free your mind from such worries. Some ways to overcome them are praying to Buddha or God and practicing self-reflection. As a result, you'll feel somewhat relieved and the spirits possessing you will leave. You must stop thinking in ways that amplify your worries. Another method is to think positively. Have a brighter heart and cut your ties with evil spirits. Different religions use different approaches to help people. The point is, if you hold on to worries for a long time, you'll eventually attune yourself to evil spirits and attract them to you. Large numbers of people die in the cancer wards of hospitals. I'm not sure whether such facilities are good or bad because the people who died in these wards are unable to return to heaven, most likely remain there. I'm sure there are plenty of such stray spirits. When a new patient is brought in, these stray spirits think, a new guest, and possesses the patient. These spirits endlessly repeat the cycle of possession and death. By changing your state of mind, you can get rid of possessing spirits. Even so, possession continues to occur because currently, countless spirits are unable to return to heaven after death. This is a major problem. So it's quite troublesome that religions have little power. This is why the world is filled with people who do not have a basic understanding of the truth.
So the first point is to understand that your soul is eternal. Your physical body perishes, but your consciousness does not. Naturally, you'd like to go to heaven. However, after you die, if you don't understand the spirit world, you may wander lost in this world. Or, if you held on to a negative attitude for too long, you may find yourself in hell. Spiritual possession happens when your mind attunes with the lost spirit, or spirit in hell. Our mind is constantly connected to the world beyond this one. Simply put, think negative, and you will attract evil spirits. In the second half, we will learn how to get rid of evil spirits.
The first level of enlightenment people must attain is the truth that human beings aren't physical bodies, but are essentially spiritual beings. I presume that about 70% of people haven't reached this level. Therefore, it's extremely important that you believe in and are devoted to a righteous religion while you're alive. If you do, you'll be able to find salvation quite quickly after death. The spirits who work to assist the dead will come to help you, of course. Then all you need to do after returning to the next world is to change the habits you had when living in a physical body to those fitting for a spiritual body. This change of mindset is a little difficult to do. It's not easy for people who die unexpectedly and have no spiritual knowledge or awareness to depart this world for the next. People who die of illness may be more or less aware of their death, but those who die suddenly, such as ones who get into a traffic accident, will find it very difficult to accept their death. They'll be eager to live for 10 or 20 more years. And if they still have their career and family, they won't be able to let go of their attachments so easily. Their minds would be focused on such problems, so they end up coming back to their home. In most cases, the spirits of the dead live inside the house with their spouse and children. Although they may be worrying about their spouse, children, or grandchildren, the fact is that they remain attached to this world, possessing family members. They have nowhere else to go since they don't know where to return to, and can't stay in their grave forever. When people are possessed by spirits who are unable to return to heaven, their bodies feel heavy and unwell. Their worries are amplified. Their concern is always about the same problem, and they can't be positive. Spirits that can't return to heaven may mean no harm, but they unintentionally cause problems by remaining on earth. Moreover, some spirits are unaware that they're already dead. They're upset that none of their family members seem to notice their presence despite having returned home. Neither their children nor their spouse answers them. So the spirits try hard to be noticed, resulting in spiritual disturbances. These spirits thus creates misfortune and bad news. For instance, their family members or descendants may be injured, get into an accident, or suddenly become ill. There are times when spirits send various signals. They do such things simply because they haven't attained a fair level of enlightenment, nor been aware of the spiritual truth. This is why, even though such spirits don't intend to cause problems, they produce further misfortune and unhappiness. There are malicious spirits who are more persistent than evil spirits. They're aware that they're lost and they intentionally curse and haunt people. They actively create misfortune in this world and destroy happiness. They try to make people on earth suffer because they can't be happy themselves. They only know how to hold grudges and strive to make people unhappy. For instance, there are the spirits of people whose business didn't go well and went bankrupt, leading them to commit suicide. They know that their company is done for, but if nothing else, they at least want to destroy their friends' companies in the same way. They also wish to bring misery to relatives who made a fool of them. In this way, spirits who seriously and purposely try to make others suffer, they will be classified as malicious spirits. If you leave these spirits alone, they'll carry out evil deeds one after another. The thought, if I can't be happy, then I want other people to be unhappy too. Everybody has this feeling, more or less. No one can deny this. If you can't be successful and be happy, then you'll want to make others unhappy as well, just to make yourself feel better. This feeling can build up and become a powerful force. Nonetheless, it's pitiful to see people living ordinary lives here on earth turn into such miserable beings in the next life after leaving this world in a few years or decades. Spirits from hell drive people's lives to misfortune and create more unhappy people, so we must put a stop to this phenomenon and possession at all costs. As I explained earlier, possession takes place when the wavelengths of your mind are attuned to those of a spirit. Then what kind of mind will attract evil spirits? What kind of mind can be described as a negative one? There are numerous examples of a negative mind. An envious mind, a mind that is full of jealousy, a mind that is always filled with dissatisfaction and complaint, a mind that is always slandering or abusing others, hurting people with negative words. There's a cynical mind too. Also, there's persecutory delusion. Those who are susceptible to spiritual possession generally suffer from persecutory delusion. They believe that people are always bullying and harming them, and that they always get the short end of the stick. This type of thinking is usually accompanied by a mind that blames others. It's the mind that always believes that somebody else is at fault, always trying to put the blame on parents, friends, teachers, superiors at work, colleagues, lovers, the environment, job, the economy, anything but themselves. They don't assume responsibility for the awful situation they're in and continue blaming others. Spirits in hell find it very easy to approach people like this. Another example is an angry mind. Everybody gets angry at times, but people who become angry on a regular basis, who are always in a rage, are generally in tune with hell. People who are always angry, who are filled with unreasonable rage, will attract spirits from hell. People who easily lose their temper, who say and do terrible things, who complain, who have persecutory delusions, and who always blame others for their misfortune, will be approached by spirits from hell. In contrast, there are people with low self-image, low self-acknowledgement, or low self-esteem. These are people who think that they are no good, that they're a complete failure, that they're beyond help, and that they shouldn't have been born. They attract hellbound spirits too. Their mind are also covered with dark clouds. We can look at this problem from a different angle. An unhealthy lifestyle is another major factor in attracting evil spirits. Therefore, it's also important that you lead an orderly life and rest your body. When you're physically exhausted, you'll find that light won't come into your body. Rather, it's easier for you to attract evil. You won't be able to correct your mind, no matter how hard you try. So when you're exhausted, it's important that you first rebuild a healthy lifestyle. Take a rest. Eat nutritious food and build your body. Unless you regain your health, you might not be able to rid of evil influences. Religions often talk of creating a spiritual screen or barrier. Your mind can be connected to various realms in the spirit world according to the laws of the mind. So if you're fighting evil spirits on your own, it's important that you create a good spiritual field to prevent evil spirits from intruding. The local branches of happy science are also protected by a spiritual screen. Believers visit and take part of ceremonies in the prayer rooms. A kind of spiritual aura protects the local branches. In the home, if the whole family believes in happy science, then a barrier will be created around the house when they recite our fundamental sutra, Buddha's teachings, the Dharma of the right mind, watch my lecture videos, listen to my lecture CDs, read books of truth, and practice self-reflection. This makes it difficult for evil spirits to enter. The house will become a fortress to protect your family from the outside world. To sum up, in order to prevent possession by evil spirits, it's vital that you first maintain harmony in your own mind and stay physically healthy. Then you should work together with your Dharma friends and other believers in order to keep that condition for a long time and protect each other too. In particular, you should create a spiritual screen in your local and main temples and in your own home. This will prevent evil spirits from entering. This is a very important and systematic way to protect yourself. Please work on this.
Today's lecture is about how to create a spiritual screen. Sounds a little different and a little difficult. Or, in other words, how to create a spiritual barrier. It's easier for you to understand. For example, if you are you have some kind of attachment, you cannot concentrate on the right mind in this world. You can see the material world, and people usually attach to something material in this world. You must check your attachment. Everything is passing by, and nothing can be stopped as it is. So don't attach to anything in front of you. This world is a shadow. This world is not real. The real world is waiting for you within years or several years, and at that time all the people who are living in this world will experience the truth. And at that time, the soul, your mind, can find that everything was experience, just experience. Or this world is a training course prepared by God or Buddha. So don't attach anything in this world, and you can protect yourself.
When you hold on to negative thoughts like hatred, self-pity, or think that the world is against you, and on top of that, can't maintain your health, you will end up inviting evil spirits into your mind. All things will come to pass. This world is just a shadow of the real world, heaven. Live with gratitude and a carefree heart. As Okawa says, happy science temples are religious spaces filled with a high vibration that does not let evil spirits in. Turn your mind towards faith and God by studying the truth together with friends. Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness, and join us next week where we will be exploring the topic, life after death. What happens to all of us after we pass from this world to the other? See you next week to find out. We are all searching for answers to life's questions. The Laws of the Sun is an uplifting guide to spiritual awakening. Self-discovery begins with every page.
I think that the Laws of the Sun encompasses a lot of viewpoints, and it's important for people to take those viewpoints and apply it to what they know in everyday life today. I like taking the best parts of all of the religions and understanding why do they think that, why do they think this over here, and how can I apply that to my life? How can I make myself better, and how can I become aware of the importance of the teachings and apply them to the problems of the world today?
Why are we here? How do we find happiness? What is the nature of the soul? Imagine if life's questions could be answered. Imagine if we could understand God's designs and intentions and discover more than our life goals, but also how to attain them. In the Laws of the Sun, Ryuho Okawa shows us the universal spiritual laws and how we can live in harmony with them. Learn how our thoughts influence reality, the nature of love, and the guiding principles on the path to enlightenment. This is a book with answers to life's questions for all in search of spiritual growth. From an author who writes to unite humankind in peace and harmony. The Laws of the Sun. Available now.
The preceding program was sponsored by Happy Science.